I think white people are so triggered by black joy because they have zero control over it. And white people are all about control. And anything they don't get to control and manage and dictate freaks them the hell out.
They don't get to be the leader.
I need some black joy. The fact that black joy even exists as a concept in the world is miraculous to me. Asians are no good at joy. We are good at working hard and being diligent and doing our best, but not joy. Colonizers too. Rich lives, no joy. We should never have hooked our stars to theirs. But black people, especially black Americans, are the best at joy. You've turned it into an art form. I know it came from terrible hardship that you've turned into soul and then into joy. And we, Chinese people, we just turn that hardship into more hard work. But I know you can't give it to us. We have to go out and earn it for ourselves just like you did. Joy is a puzzle for every human being, and it's not free. When I ask my black friends where their joy comes from, they inevitably shake their heads and just repeat, "You can't let them take it away from you." That's what it's not. But what is black joy? Can you tell me?
All right, racists, let's talk about your distaste for black joy. Racist America fumes at the sight of happiness.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, we're going to be talking about something very, very important here, and that is the black joy. And as we heard from the beginning part of this video, there was an Asian man who came onto TikTok and asked a very important question. According to her, she realized that the black community has something very important, the black joy, and was asking how do the rest of the other communities get this, because she says in their community they don't experience this as much.
Right, so before we answer this question, guys, you can also let us know why you think this is a phenomenon to the rest of the other races. But for now, let's watch this episode and then we come back and talk about it. You can also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. Let's watch.
Yeah.
Why is it that black people just existing in a positive, happy, or joyful state bothers y'all so much? If you want to have an event to celebrate the resilience of the white community or the Hispanic community, then go ahead and organize one.
All right, racists, let's talk about your distaste for black joy. Racist America fumes at the sight of happiness, especially when that person smiling is black. It's as if this country specializes in anger Olympics. Being a little too happy disturbs the patriotism. 3 or more laughs in one place is like being investigated by a mall cop. I'm gonna need to see some ID. Because deep down, they believe that pain is the only state that black indigenous people are allowed to live in. Black people start laughing too loud at their cousin's cookout. They throw on some Frankie Beverly. They start dancing with their auntie in a sundress while the ribs are sizzling. Instantly, their lives are in danger. It's like watching a perfect example of a case study on people who have a problem with control. It's like their obsession isn't just with control, it's like with the optics of it as well. They want to be seen as dominant in the space because they seem to disappear when there is black joy. When you throw your graduation cap in the air, surrounded by your entire family in matching t-shirts, they don't see achievement, they see defiance. Because in their minds, success was never black people's storyline. The truth is, black joy is a glitch in the racist lies that they feed themselves. They built a whole myth of superiority that only works if you're miserable, delusional, insecure, jealous, and mediocre. When black people shift the world with their joy and laughter, the racist's entire self-image starts to crack. This is why racists gatekeep golf courses, ban urban dress codes, side-eye loud laughter, and call the cops when the music's just a little too bassy. The unnecessary hate and determination to ruin black people's happiness is a disease, a brain-eating amoeba that siphons the cognition out of America's privileged society. And what hurts the most is that happiness and black joy is more infectious.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, you didn't want me to what?
While they're talking, you don't have to put that in my face either. Okay, we don't put it in my face. Okay, thank you.
Take your hand off my property.
You can take it out of my hand as well.
Take it off
Thank
my
you.
property.
God bless you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, the first people we talked to today at the Black Joy Festival. The Pride people told them not to talk to me, which is very interesting. At a Black Joy Festival, the white person's telling them not to talk to me. All right, we're off to a good start. So they're actively shouting at people not to talk to me. So this will be a good event. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say the name Donald Trump?
Pass.
So I'm just curious what the questions were and what you're doing, like, just to be clear, because we just want to make sure the best experience for our attendees.
Oh yeah, no, I think this is an amazing event, and I would I hope everyone has a great time today, and I'm here to ask them what the Black Joy Festival is, and then we're doing like a reaction type of question, and we're having a good time.
Yeah, what's the reaction question? I'm just curious as to.
I'll ask you. All right, there's the camera, here's the microphone. What is the first word that comes to mind when I say the name Donald Trump?
Why is that a relevant question for this event?
That was more than one word.
I mean, I'm asking a question back, so that's all. All right,
She's going through the security already. Hi!
I think people are still very confused by the rest and relaxation that Black people are deciding to take during this, economic time period. Because to them, before the veil was lifted, I think him being in office has made people realize how broken our country is, but Black people have realized for years and centuries how broken this country is already. So for them, they feel like, why aren't you fighting? But for years, they were already fighting, already doing all the work, and they were being gaslit and told that, oh, it's not true, the country's fine, you guys are just victims. And I feel like Black Americans learned very, very quickly that you cannot appeal to a racist because they are not human beings. They quite literally are just entities with human skin. So they're surprised and shocked that people are not doing anything, or in their eyes. But the thing is, relaxing and being joyful is also a form of resistance. It is a form of rebellion. Choosing to not engage with narcissist tactics that are literally targeting you because of what you look like is resistance. There is nothing that America hates more than Black people saying no and not giving them free labor.
What is the first word that comes to mind when you hear the name Donald Trump?
Loser.
You know what? That is pretty well-mannered. No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Why do you think of loser when you hear his name?
I don't think he's doing a good job for people.
Okay.
In general. I think he's doing it for his class of people, but not for everybody. He's not seeing the country.
Do you mean wealthy people?
Yes,
okay.
He's seeing only the wealthy.
What is the first word that comes to mind when you hear the name Donald Trump?
2 words, oh God, yeah, and just, I don't know.
What's the word that comes to your mind?
It's also 2 words, it's uh-oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is the first word that comes to mind when you hear the name Donald Trump?
Oh. Can I stay out of this?
You watch YouTube.
Tall.
Why does that come to mind when you hear his name?
He's a kid. He's a soul.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why, yeah.
What has he done?
Terrible stuff.
Yeah. Like what?
Like awful things.
Like what?
Like right now with the whole immigration thing. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah. What don't you appreciate by illegal aliens being deported from the country?
You said what do I appreciate about this?
What don't you appreciate about illegal aliens being deported?
I feel like they are hardworking people that are paying taxes just like all of us, and they should be able to do whatever they need to do. It's unfair. People have families here that they built. They have children. They have work. They have a lot of things going on. So, yeah.
Totally respect what you're doing. But I just want to ask if anyone, and you're not chasing down anybody. So if any attendee just walks away, doesn't want to participate, we just ask that you just.
Yeah, I don't need babysat. Yeah. Did you go to them to see what was up and they told you that I'm allowed to be here?
No. Okay. I just wanted to check.
Someone went to them.
You do,
yeah,
and so I'm responsible for the staff and the responsibility of our attendees. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that if anyone is out here and they don't want to participate, that you're just being respectful and just letting them.
Yeah, I don't need to be asked to do that.
I saw you didn't chase me down. That's why I see that. But just we want to make sure this experience is safe for everyone.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I don't need to be asked that because I'm an adult and I can follow basic human relations.
Sometimes people don't, And
I know. I've experienced that myself. Yeah.
Sure that we just at least say that for the safety. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. So a couple people did go over to the security guards and were complaining about me, and they said she's allowed to be here. So I'm so glad to know that I won't have to get kicked off of public property today.
Okay.
Do white people and Hispanic people not have their own holiday observances to be worried about? Why are you worried about? All we're trying to do is honor the Black folks who have led the charge for Black liberation and to honor the sacrifices made by political prisoners for our freedom. Black August started in 1979 in San Quentin when the Black guerrilla family was looking for a way to honor the sacrifices of George Jackson and Jonathan Jackson, who were key figures in the Black liberation struggle. they decided the best way to honor these people was to engage in political education. It's a month-long opportunity for Black folks to refocus in on the community by doing some self-study, fasting from media that is not about Black people. It's a time for community building, a time for advocacy around the issues that are most impacting the Black community. And I said it before, but above all, making sure that our community is politically educated. If y'all had genuine interest, y'all could literally do exactly the same thing in your own community, but that would require interest in political education. That would require the ability for advocacy, that will require the ability to community build and the ability to acknowledge the contributions your elders have made to liberation. But y'all don't even want to do none of that. You just want to sit on your ass and complain about what Black people are doing.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the episodes we just played, So, one thing, first of all, let's talk about the white guy who was talking and trying to explain why he feels white people cannot stand Black joy, And he said very clearly, white people hate what they cannot control, and Black joy is one of those things that they really cannot control. And this really explains a lot of things that normally happen, or a lot of videos we normally see on TikTok, like for example, of a Black person dancing in the streets and a random white guy comes and starts just arguing with this person just simply because
or standing in front of their
cameras. We've seen those videos, right, of their cameras just so they could stop dancing. And you ask yourself, are they the police of the streets to look at who is dancing in the streets? Because if it was a white person doing that, they wouldn't have bothered. But because
although sometimes some of them usually even bother even white creators.
And so in today's episode, the biggest question we were asking, right, what is this Black joy, and why is it that other communities, especially the white community, cannot get to enjoy it as much? And I was looking at the comment section of the Asian lady, and a lot of Black people engaged with her content. Most importantly, they were talking on the comment section saying that is the one secret they should not let them in on. According to Black Americans on the comment section, they were saying they should just let the other communities figure it out,
Right, and also I do feel like part of why white community for the most part is unable of feeling situations or being as happy as the Black community. I do feel like it trickles down to how families are being raised, because as we did the video of why white people do not have cousins, it was apparent that within the Black community, the family structure is very important to Black people, even with cousins and all of that. So, sometimes when you're around a lot of people, you get to see a lot of different characters, and with it, you get to experience very beautiful new things, unlike if you limit yourself to only one or two family members. So I do feel like also how they bring each other up and their offsprings has a lot to do with this. And also another one is, I feel like some people, especially the racist white people, they cannot fathom how Black Americans are still happy despite going through what they go through every day in America, and how what their ancestors went through. So this makes them angry because it's a situation whereby you try to bully somebody, but that person is still living in their own space and experiencing joy within themselves. They have life within themselves.
That is what peace looks like. Guys, do you know that, there was somebody who was talking about how when you walk back to the days of slavery, how the Black ancestors were not allowed to sing, they were not allowed to dance, they were not allowed to even laugh. I've seen movies where when they catch you laughing, for them it was offensive that you had to undergo whooping, being whooped so that you stopped laughing. Or it's like they intended for the whole world to be miserable.
And I feel like what was making the white people even more miserable is the injustices they were committing in the world. And if you relate that to today's world, the injustices they commit to the world, the racism they show towards the world, the way they put themselves on an upper pedestal. And if a Black person dares to do well in life, regardless of the obstacles thrown at the black person, it angers them even the more.
But let me tell you something, guys. You know, there's no way a bully can become happy, being that you get to live with the things you've done to other people. And like when you internalize these things, you ask yourself, do you sleep better at night? And I feel like this is one of the reasons why, just like in the black community, they normally talk about carrying forward the generational traumas and the past traumas of slavery. I feel like it goes both ways. Exactly. And this could explain why for white people, they never like when they're reminded what their ancestors did, because they don't want to face the reality of it all, and
or of the reality of them looking at themselves as bad people.
Exactly. There was a video I was looking at on TikTok where a Jamaican guy, although he was born in the UK, right? He was talking about how he used to date women of all types, including white women, especially white women, you know. But in his older age, he got married to a black woman. And the reason he was giving that video, I think I'll look for it so that we just make it an episode and try and look for other testimonies out there. He said at the end of the day, he ended up marrying a black woman because black women got him and they were from the same culture. Why? Because a lot of the white women he dated didn't understand him as a black man, and they didn't understand
he walks through life as a black man, being constantly being under scrutiny by police when you're on the street, you know.
Exactly. And he says two of the women who are white that he dated, who stand out to date, who he'll never forget, one was because she was very curious about the black community, and she was very curious about the black culture and their struggles, so she kept on asking these questions and things like that, which is not a bad thing. Only that her curiosity wouldn't stop, and to some extent it became kind of like she became obsessed with he didn't settle well with him, because at the end of the day she still didn't get it. It's something like he had to constantly keep on explaining to her, you don't do this because it's offensive, like this and that. He got tired. And the other woman is stuck out because the opposite to this other white woman, that one was opposite. She did not want to know anything about the black community or their struggles. And these are conversations that for the guy would come up naturally. For example, they were watching a documentary, or they were watching a comedy, a black comedian movie, and he just bring up these comments, because it's his culture. He talks about, this what happens. Police always stop black people for no reason. This woman would be like, there you go again. Why is it always everything
about
with you has to
people?
Be about black issues, black people? And, that would constantly be the point, the epitome of their arguments, their quarrels. So it became difficult for him. He got out of that. And that was the last time he dated a white woman. So why am I saying this? Because there's a reason why that other white lady did not want to hear about black people. And I feel like for someone, if you don't know what your ancestors did to a community, how it's affecting them to date, and you're still dating this person, that is the great point where you start learning about how it's affecting the two races are affecting each other, But for her, she didn't want to know about it at all,
Right. And the woman who went to Black Joy Festival, and she was asking questions that would be considered upsetting to some attendees at the event. My biggest question was, why would you go to such an event, especially if the majority of attendees would be black people, and ask them such a question? That was neither the place nor the time for her to practice her
rotten journalism.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like she was trying to trigger a situation to
get a reaction out of the people who attended that festival.
Exactly. And you could clearly see her intentions were not in the right place. Although I know she kind of goes viral of triggering people. She's called Caitlyn, well known for, triggering people. But like at that moment in that Black Joy Festival, she didn't need to do that. And
and I get that people have freedom of speech, but also you should just respect events that people organize, and if someone doesn't want to answer your question or says that they don't want to do so, you shouldn't make it a point to irritate them to a point where you're trying to get a reaction out of them. And also, for the most part, I think people should really normalize walking away from people and situations like this, especially after you make them out as people who are trying to get a reaction from other people.
I love some ladies were walking away, and there's a lady who was asking her, why do you feel, how are the questions you're asking relevant to this event? She was with another lady who didn't even, like, she didn't want to take that BS and she walked away, and I loved that attitude, just normalize walking away from BS, if you don't feel like it's sitting well with you, just walk away. Nobody will blame you. In fact, you'll walk away feeling like the winner, because that person didn't
Get a
destroy
reaction
your
from
day.
you, yeah.
Exactly. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that the fact that I don't know why for some reason it always feels like white people expect black people to continue living in misery, and in misery they don't expect black people to find some type of joy.
I do feel like for the white people who are like that, deep down maybe they might be feeling like that because if you are miserable, then they can see themselves as saviors when they come to get you out of that dark hole. But if you manage by yourself to get out of that dark hole, they'll be forced to see how, not only that, but they won't they'll be forced to see how they forced you or pushed you down that hole. So they can't redeem themselves because you've already gotten yourself out of that in the first place.
Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about this video in the comment section, and anyway, this needs to be studied, why white people that cannot stand black joy, and if I feel like if there's a woman from the Asian community who has recognized that, then a lot of people are aware about the black joy that exists in the black community, and I feel like if you can't have something good, you work hard to destroy it type of thing, like if I can't have it, no one else should, and that is basically what is happening. But to the black community, I don't even need to say it. I already know the spirit that is, soaring high, and I already know the unity that, just that something in the soul that brings that black joy out. It's just the spirit of content, just the spirit of you can be able to sleep better at night because you're not causing generational damage to another race because of your action policies or systemic hindrances that you put forward so that they don't, them and their children to come don't face difficulties. If you can be able to sleep well at night knowing that you have no hand in that, then I guess you'll always find a little spot in your heart to spark that joy,
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode. Also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.